Okay.
Joe, can we share the screen? We need to share
Okay,
the
we are
screen, no?
live, and yes, you are able to. I've given permission for anyone to share their screen. We
Okay.
are now streaming live.
Okay, great.
Okay. So once again, welcome everybody to our Traffic and Transportation Committee meeting. On tonight's agenda, we have one item. The DOT representatives will present a safety improvement proposal for Marine Avenue and Ridge Boulevard at 95th Street. So we want to thank all of our committee members for coming and welcome our friends from DOT. So as soon as you're ready, please introduce yourselves and we can begin.
I'm Leroy Branch from the Brooklyn Borough Commissioner's Office. I'm CB10's community coordinator. Chris?
Hi, my name is Chris Brunson. I'm the Director of Safety Projects and Programs.
Angela?
I'm Angela Kermouche, and I'm an urban designer with the safety implementation team.
Thanks. So again, my name is Chris Brunson. I'm the Director of Safety Projects and Programs at DOT. And as you had mentioned in the agenda, we're here to present safety improvements at one of the strangest intersections in your community, I will say. Marine Ave, Ridge Boulevard, and 95th Street. And anyone who has visited this intersection will attest that it's very unpredictable. It is what we hear from our borough engineers. Those are that's the group that hangs signs throughout the borough, that the stop signs are continually knocked down at this intersection in all directions because they're put into the asphalt right there. There is also a lack of crossings at this intersection for pedestrians. And so a little over a year ago, our team went out with CB10 and Councilmember Brannon, as well as Leroy's office, and we had a site visit and looked at this intersection. And after that site visit, we realized this indeed did need improvements. And after looking at the traffic flow, looking at the surrounding geometries, thinking about a couple different design options, one including a roundabout, which was not feasible, we're happy to report that we have a nice proposal here that creates a more predictable intersection, as well as adds a couple of crosswalks for pedestrians. So with that, I'll turn it over to Angela Kermouche, who will give the presentation.
Can everyone see my screen here?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so hi everyone. Again, I'm Angela with the Research Implementation and Safety team. I'm going to walk you through this short presentation on the intersection, and then we'll have some time for questions at the end. There we go. So as Chris mentioned, this intersection came to us through a request from Councilmember Brannon to provide safety improvements here. There have also been multiple community requests for safety improvements along Marine Ave. And then just for some context, the immediate area here is mostly residential, but just to the east is the 3rd Ave commercial corridor, and to the west is the Shore Road Park and the Bell Parkway. So the safety data we have from 2014 to 2018 show 5 total injuries at this intersection, one of which was a severe injury to a cyclist and 1 severe injury to a driver. So this is an image of the intersection as it is now. As Chris mentioned, to the south and west corners of the intersection, there's no marked crosswalks for pedestrians. So anyone wishing to cross to the south and west sides have to do so without a crosswalk and cross a fairly far distance. So basically anything in the red dash box on that image has no crosswalk for pedestrians. And then the way that the intersection is laid out now drivers trying to navigate other drivers at the all-way stop have a hard time seeing all the other drivers entering the intersection. And they also, it would be hard to understand where all the vehicles are going. There's a couple very irregular turning movements I've shown here in yellow on the image.
I'm
So this-
sorry to interrupt, but I'm very familiar with this intersection. And could you tell me what the orientation of this picture is?
Sure. So up is north. So you're looking,
Okay, thank
the
you.
top is north.
I
yeah.
got it.
So yeah, there's a couple irregular turning movements, and it's just hard to navigate for all users, whether that be a driver, a cyclist going through here, or pedestrians as well. So our proposal to provide safety improvements here is to provide 2 painted curb extensions to the southeast corners of the intersection over by 95th Street. Once again, north is up in this image. The painted curb extensions in this image are the brown portions there. These painted curb extensions would then have crosswalks leading to them, which provides crosswalks at all legs of the intersection for pedestrians. These painted curb extensions not only help provide crosswalks and shorten the crossing distances, but it kind of pulls the whole intersection in. So it's easier to navigate, not just for pedestrians, but for drivers as well, so that when you're pulling up to that all-way stop, you can easier see the other drivers. You can understand who pulled up first, you know. And then what we typically provide at the edges of these painted curb extensions are flexible bollards. These help provide a vertical element, which helps delineate that space for pedestrians and also discourages vehicles from driving into it, since these are essentially extensions of the sidewalk here. And then one last element I want to point out is this NSA where my mouse is on the northeast curb of Ridge Boulevard. This NSA would be added to accommodate emergency vehicle access. So
What's
this
an NSA?
Yeah, no standing anytime space. So this no standing anytime space here would be added. This over here on the other side of the street, that's existing no standing anytime space. And then lastly, in order to provide these safety benefits, which include the added crosswalks for pedestrians, the shorter crossing distances, slower turns for vehicles, and just a more compact navigable intersection, we would need to also include a right turn ban for trucks only from northbound Marine Ave onto 95th Street. So the benefits of these safety improvements are that they would provide those crosswalks that are missing currently for pedestrians that want to access any of the curbs to the south or west of the intersection. It helped normalize this intersection so that it's much more navigable for all users, whether that be a driver, pedestrian, or cyclist. And it shortens those crossings and makes turns a little slower, which helps provide for yielding for pedestrians as well. And in this photo below, you can see an example of the painted curb extension on the left there, along with those vertical flexible bollards that I mentioned as well.
Have you considered improving the lighting on Marine Avenue between 95th and 96th Street? Because when you use, there's very, very poor lighting on those blocks. They're very dark and they make it very difficult for pedestrians and drivers.
Doris, that's
One, and two,
oh, go
have you
ahead.
there are, to my recollection, because it's a route that my family uses regularly, there's a stoplight on Colonial Road at 86th Street. And then as Colonial Road merges into Marine Avenue, there's a stoplight at Marine Avenue and 3rd Avenue. have you considered other traffic lights in that area?
That wasn't-
To change the traffic patterns.
It wasn't part of this project, Doris. In terms of lighting, I'll speak to Josephine later. She make the request, and we can ask for a lighting study to be done on those particular blocks that you're talking that it's dark on. Now, the second part when you said change patterns. What are you talking
Well,
about
the Colonial Road from
Mhm.
86th Street continues
Okay.
and then merges with Marine Avenue. And there's a traffic light at 86th Street and Colonial Road. And then after Colonial Road merges with Marine Avenue, there's a traffic light at 3rd Avenue and Marine, which is a very long distance.
Okay.
Locals, those of us who use it because it's convenient because you get off 3rd and 4th at time, know how to use it. But for other people, I would ask you to consider if that could be pretty helpful for the problems there.
If I could interject, given the fact that 95th Street is a block that only goes from this intersection up to 3rd Avenue, I think that it might serve us well to have a traffic light at this intersection because it will control, I think it'll just help control the volume of traffic.
Oh, okay. So basically what happened is when we did our traffic light studies for this intersection at this time, it doesn't meet the warrants to put a traffic light at this particular intersection.
That makes sense.
I want to say this, as we change the intersection to make it safer for all users, more users will probably begin to use the intersection. And for that reason, we can come back and do another traffic light study, and hopefully it will meet the warrants for a traffic light. But as of right now, it does not meet the warrants.
Question here.
Yes.
You considered putting, say, a flashing yellow light or a flashing red light instead of a full, red, yellow, and green light?
No, I don't.
We don't really
Chris-
do those for stop
Right.
signs
Not
typically.
anymore?
No.
It's pretty rare that we would use that for a stop sign in the city.
And this is a somewhat complex intersection.
Well, this is,
Narrow and,
but this, it is a complex intersection currently, but we're making it a lot
Oh,
less
yes.
complex. Yes.
Yes.
We're making it a lot more straightforward. The situation, what Leroy is describing, like in its current condition before this proposal, it's hard to study as one intersection because of the way that northbound slip off of Marine goes toward Ridge. This section, hold on. This section here makes this almost kind of two intersections.
Yes.
So for our signals team, this would actually, the way that they fill out the workbooks, it actually confuses things and would actually have a less of a chance to, it makes it less eligible for a signal. So by us making it more regular, making it more standard, that's going to help the case in the future that a signal could be placed here. It'll currently still have its always stop. We just think that the always stop will be less confusing because you won't have two northbound adjacent vehicles stopping by each other. People can see each other much more clearly, and we get those extra crosswalks. No more just run out in the street and fend for your life out in the middle of the street. Right? There's more predictability as to where you should be walking as a pedestrian and where motorists should be looking for pedestrians.
The crosswalks will be very helpful.
Yeah.
Question. The ramps on 95th Street, are they going to be filled in or no?
The
On
ramp.
95th Street, the two ramps, you have the two ramps where there's not going to be a crosswalk anymore. So it's an invitation of people walking to the street.
There's a lot of ramps that just exist on the sidewalks. Ramps don't necessarily have to have a crosswalk.
Oh.
Yeah.
And those red marks by the crosswalks on the intersection is
Those are detectable warning strips for the visually impaired.
The bumps, yeah, okay.
I'm wondering if there's a way to have something more substantial than the plastic bollards there. Like, is there a way to have like some sort of large planters or cement blocks? Because I'm imagining people desperate for parking just kind of going up into that area because they can.
Yeah, so we can put granite blocks in there. Now, planters require a maintenance partner, which is a pretty huge legal lift for a local partner. They're signing over. We assign responsibility over to the partner, and very few people are willing to do that. But the granite blocks are something that we can very easily put in, and we would strategically place them so there would still be enough clearance for a street sweeper to get in there, but also to strongly discourage people either driving through the space or parking in the space. Now, if you notice in the southern portion of Marine Avenue, where those two gray cars are parked next to the brown painted space, that's actually 2 additional parking spots, and that makes up for the new NSA on the northern side there of Ridge Boulevard. So realistically, overall, we lose about 10 feet of curb space, which is like half of a parking spot. But we really think that the benefits outweigh that minimal amount of the reallocation of the space is a net positive for this intersection. And we really think that that's going to help for the safety.
Quick question about the turn at 95th Street going northbound on Marine Avenue. Is the way it's constructed, I can't tell from just the photo, is that going to be a sharp turn? Is that going to be difficult for flow? It's
going to be slower it'll be tighter than it was before because we have that curb extension there. Now we designed it such that it's we're banning trucks because we want it to be a slow turn. This is a residential portion of the neighborhood, but motor vehicles will easily be able to make that turn. But it's right after a stop sign. We would assume people are proceeding with caution on their turn. It won't impede through traffic behind you because it's a stop sign. Everyone has to stop there. But yes, we wanted to make that turn still available, but we wanted to make sure that it was calmed at this intersection.
Where is that stop sign located?
It will be marked on the asphalt, but it will also be in the painted space as well.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find out where it's located. I can't. Are you saying it's at the end of 95th Street? I'm confused.
No, 95th Street is an away street.
Yeah.
The stop
could you point it out? Could you just point out the location of the stop sign on
right here? There'll be a stop sign here.
Here, and here.
There'll be one.
Thank you.
Yeah. Here. There you go.
Are there not existing stop signs there? I know there is one on Marine, or maybe not. I can't remember. I take it back.
There's a stop sign currently like in the middle of the street here in the channelization.
Oh, yes, okay.
Then there's a couple that are in the channelization over here, and they all get hit and knocked down. No joke. Like I said before, the Borough Engineers Department says that those stop signs get knocked down almost once a week. So when they heard we were doing this new proposal, they were like, "Oh, thank you so much. We're so tired of going and replacing those stop signs."
I think the addition of the crosswalks is really, really important. But have you considered crosswalks farther east on Marine Avenue? Because I don't know where the next crosswalk is, because the next actual crosswalk might not be till 3rd Avenue, and there are 2 intersections in between.
Are you talking about on 95th Street?
No, I'm talking about on Marine Avenue. I'm talking about
In the middle of the block, Doris?
Well, it's not the middle of the block, because as you're traveling on Marine Avenue towards 3rd, there is 97th Street and 98th Street. And there are no crosswalks there.
Right.
So
'cause
that's a
it's the
long
stop-
stretch from
Yeah.
this intersection to 3rd Avenue without crosswalks.
Okay.
So I'd actually like, for the safety of everybody in that area, I would like you to consider a broader area.
Yeah,
Not
it's something,
not lots, but
yeah, it's something we can look at. It's tough. It's difficult because those are T intersections.
Right.
They need to be signalized signalized or stop controlled on Marine Avenue, and they're also offset intersections. So that's another
Mhm.
challenge. But we can look at that too. I mean, I won't have an answer for you quickly, but we can put that on our list of things to look at.
Yeah, Doris, just give that list of locations to
Okey dokey.
Josephine, and
Gotcha.
then we can go from there.
right.
Of the stop signs, not the signs themselves, but the written stop on the ground, have they been moved closer to that main intersection? Because for example, if you're going, south on Marine, when you stop there, it's sometimes very difficult to see the cars to your left or your right, or to east or your west. And sometimes it's not until you start moving, you realize that there's another car there.
Good point.
So the written stop messages are essentially where they are now on the north, northeast, and west legs of this intersection. So here on Marine, here on Ridge, and here on Ridge. These are essentially the same locations, but this stop has been moved much closer to this intersection just because of how we have pulled the intersection up a little more. Does that answer your question?
Yes, and I guess then in response, I would say it doesn't address some of the concerns then, because I'm not sure what it is that blocks the visibility. I don't know if it's because where the existing stop signage is on the ground is too far back. I don't know if anyone else has the same problem, but generally if I'm heading south towards 3rd Avenue, the west exposure is not so great for cars, and even east. It seems like they're set back too much. And again, I don't know if that's because, I don't know if it's buildings, people, there are no trees there, so it's just problematic.
I think that I echo your concern when you're traveling on Ridge and you're approaching Marine. I guess it's something about the house that's in that corner there, whether it's the height or the trees or I don't know what, but you know, I have often tried to go through the intersection, you know, after stopping, but realizing that there is another car that I didn't see there coming off of Marine. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, so one thing coming down Ridge now, where this red car is, it's kind of driving where that current yellow channelization is. So that will be, it's over a little bit from where, God, that's kind of a bad drawing there, sorry. It's over, it's a little further south now there where it is currently. So this visibility will be better to see vehicles coming from Ridge. These vehicles should be able to be seen pretty easily. And as Angela said before, these will be closer, more predictable. There'll only be one car down there, not two. So you won't have to figure out which car you're yielding to down there on the northbound approach.
I have another question, if I may. I'm just curious as to why the crosswalk for 95th Street between the two extended sidewalks there. Why it is where it is. They're crossing like in the street rather than on the curb, on the sidewalk itself. You know,
Same before, it was 2 ramps.
Yeah, so if it was here, I think you're suggesting it should be here, right? Is what you're saying.
Yes.
If it was here, this would be a much more recessed crossing. That would make it a lot less visible to cars stopping at the intersection here. By pulling the crosswalk further closer to this intersection, vehicles stopping at the all-way stop can better see any pedestrians crossing here before they continue into 95th Street.
That's what I meant, filling it in. so people aren't tempted to walk across the street there. That ramp is
Yeah.
going to stay there. Can you just fill it in, or?
But we also know in residential neighborhoods, people do cross a lot mid-block. I mean, we can design as much as possible for how cars and pedestrians are going to interact at intersections. And that's really what we're trying to do here. If people cross somewhere on 95th because it's their neighborhood and that's what we all do when we're walking around our neighborhoods, we can't design crosswalks throughout every block throughout the whole city. But yeah, I see your point.
Yeah, the ramp is an invitation to walk into the street where there isn't a crosswalk. Everywhere else, the crosswalks either goes into the paved area, the brown area, or a crosswalk. There, it's an invitation to walk right into the street where there isn't a crosswalk.
Well, we can't have two crosswalks back to back.
I meant you could fill it in. That's what I was trying to say. Eliminate the ramp there.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that.
I just want to say, I think Larry has a good point there.
Okay.
I agree.
Any other questions?
Are all trucks going to be banned from 95th Street, or is that just only the turn?
Only
Just the turn, just the northbound turn.
So feasibly, a truck driving south on Ridge Boulevard could make that hairpin turn over onto 95th Street.
Correct.
But only a truck going northbound on Marine Avenue is not going to be able to make the turn.
Right.
Right.
That's important for local deliveries.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Was there any other questions from our committee members?
When we're going to see this implemented?
We're planning for summer 2021.
This summer.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Larry. Is there anybody else with any other final thoughts? I appreciate all of the questions that you brought up and that so many of our committee members are familiar with that exact intersection and have their firsthand knowledge that they bring to the table. So we appreciate that.
Jane, I see Barbara Germack has her hand raised.
I'm sorry, I did not see that. Thank you.
Yeah, I just noticed it.
Go right ahead, Barbara. Thank you.
She's on mute.
You're on mute.
You're on mute, Barbara.
Okay, better still?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear
Now we
you.
hear you.
You can hear me, yes. I live down Ridge Boulevard near Shore Road. And I would say with that crosswalk, I do realize in the evening, kids are doing donuts around that and those bollards have come and gone. And it's quite a scene up there. And also if a person is crossing from 95th Street on the south side and cars are coming down Ridge Boulevard, making a left, that's very confusing.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing that as well. Anyone else? Okay. All right, Josephine. We appreciate the input from DOT and sharing their presentation with us tonight. And I'm not sure if this was something that we were to vote on.
We could, we could provide some of the comments formally to the Department of Transportation that Larry had mentioned regarding looking into the feasibility of maybe dealing with that, the ped ramps to kind of fill them in to dissuade people from that crossing. I think certainly in the once this is implemented, I think it is a good idea to request another traffic signal feasibility study at some point thereafter.
Or it could be just a warning, a yellow light or just a flashing red light. But since it's Narrows and Bay Ridge Parkway, there's been on many years, there's been a light there like that. But I had
Right.
been.
I mean, I think that's all part of a feasibility study. They would look at what, if there is signalization, what's best for that intersection.
Mhm.
As Leroy said, he would like me to submit my comments on the need for improved lighting on Marine Avenue between Ridge and Third Avenue, and improved possible additional crosswalks on the other streets between Ridge and Third Avenue on Marine Avenue.
I would ask if Doris's comments could be a
Be
separate request
Okay.
rather than part and parcel of this project.
Okay,
Yep.
dokie.
And the cement blocks too.
The cement blocks, yes. Thank you, Michael.
No planters.
If there are cement blocks, who is responsible for cleaning the snow from that area, cleaning and sweeping?
Sanitation, we would put the blocks in a way that would help to discourage motor vehicles from driving through, but would still leave enough space for street sweepers.
What
So
about snow removal?
Yeah, so street sweeping is snow removal.
Okay.
11 feet clear.
11 feet.
From curb to granite block edge. So yeah, I mean, technically another vehicle could drive through that too, but they wouldn't. It's tight, you'd have to go through very slowly.
That was my fear, but I'm glad that,
All right.
Okay. So do you have a second? I guess that's what we need.
Okay, thank you. All right, I see Larry and Judy. Thank you. All in favor?
Okay, got you all.
All right. Any opposed? Any recusals or abstentions? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Leroy.
Everyone.
it's
Thank
always
you
a
so
pleasure
much.
to come to CB10 with something good.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We
All
certainly
right.
like these things. Thank you for hearing the feedback from our community about this intersection and for your willingness to address it. And while we
Sure.
realize that it's not perfect, we know that it is a step in the right direction. So thank you.
I'm not going to say Josephine set it up, but when we did the site visit, a person who was injured drove up.
Shova, yeah.
So,
I didn't set that up, no.
if that didn't make DOT move out, nothing would. So
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you all
You're
very
welcome.
much. So
Thank you, DOT.
we
Yeah.
all right, you're
need a
welcome.
motion to adjourn our meeting and then we'll be done. All right.
That's it.
All right, take care.
All right, everybody.
Thank you.
Everyone,
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Stay safe, everyone.
All right, take care. Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Sounds like the Waltons.